everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the May Board of Education meeting. As we do always, we start our meetings out with the pledge, and we have a young man that's going to lead us in the pledge tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So it is my pleasure to introduce Reggie Claude, who is a fifth grader at Pinehurst Elementary School. Reggie, you did a great job tonight. Thank you so much for coming out and leading us in the pledge to the flag. Would you introduce your family and others who are with you tonight, please?
So this right here is my loving mother. She encourages me every single day to do my best and all other stuff too, like a mother would do. My father, who has been very kind to me, who has been caring, and he has done almost everything for me, too.
Of course, your principal is with you, too, Mr. Kevin Smith. Thank you, Reggie. You did a great job, and I have something for you.
On our agenda is approval of our agenda. I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3.3. Again this month, we've lost a lot of our family. Alton Deal, retired Facility Service Department, Bennett Jr., and James and Bennett High School. Mary Fulton, retired accounting associate, Glen Avenue Elementary, Parkside, and Central Office. Naomi Foxwell, retired teacher, Wicomico Elementary, and North Salisbury Elementary. Stans Jake Handy Jr., 2018 graduate of Evening High School. Diana Trader, 2017 graduate, Parkside High School. And Karen Ziski Shuck, current English teacher at James and Bennett High School. In your own way, we'd like to have a moment of silence. Thank you. .4, student representative to the board. And at our table tonight, I can leave, but I don't think we have somebody new representing. It's on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Green, and I am representing Y High Student Government as the president of the senior class. We are excited in anticipation of the conclusion of the school year. Y High is maintaining strong work ethic both in and outside the classroom. First, our spring sports are wrapping up their seasons. Senior baseball player Evan Wilson was nominated for Delmarva Player of the Week. The boys baseball played a good season, bringing in 8 wins with victories against both county rivals Bennett and Parkside in 1 week. In softball, our Lady Indians brought home the win against Wicomico, Salisbury Christian, and Chrisfield. Senior tennis player Thalia Gosley was featured in the Daily Times for maintaining a 4.7 GPA and having a prominent presence on the court. The girls' tennis team as a whole was able to sweep away the competition with a win of 7-0 against Wicomico and Snow Hill. Track and field has continued to break records. Last week, both girls and boys 4x2 100-meter relay team qualified for nationals, and junior Aaliyah Harris set a personal record in the 100-meter dash qualifying for the nationals. The MPSSA AA Bayside Athletic Conference awarded seniors Matt Lowe and I, Jessica Green, for being scholar athletes with a banquet and a plaque where our superintendent came to support us too. And our math team has also been recognized in the county. Both junior varsity and varsity dominated competition and won overall in the county. Recognition was also given to individual students from Y High as the highest scorers at math competitions. Aisha Ahmed was named the #1 scorer in the county for varsity math team, followed by Whitney Antoine. And sophomore Paul Yang and freshman Ava Bautista ranked first and second top scorers for junior varsity. Our student government recently held a successful blood drive, donating over 29 pints of blood to our community. And this past week, we also celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week by having a luncheon for our staff, at which staff members were awarded a personalized mug. And our students have continued to work hard academically. Last night, we had our Tri-Pride Awards at Oak Ridge Baptist Church. Well over 200 students were awarded certificates for outstanding grades, attendance, and behavior. Y High seniors have been accepted to various colleges. They are still working hard to apply for scholarships, aided by teachers and guidance counselors before those final deadlines. Seniors have currently accumulated over $3 million in scholarships. Our various honor societies and clubs are preparing for the upcoming school year. Our student government recently conducted elections for executive board, so you will be seeing a new face next year. And we are scheduled to have class elections in the upcoming weeks. Moving forward, we are preparing to host our senior prom this Saturday at Dove Point. Our theme is Krista Gala, and if you would like to come see us, our Grand March will be held in our auditorium at 7 o'clock, and tickets will be on sale for $5. For prom, we have organized raffles where Y High seniors can enter to win a grand prize of a Nintendo Switch, wireless headphones, or a laptop. And other raffles will be available to all guests in attendance, ranging from movie gift baskets to restaurant gift cards. And finally, we're looking forward to finishing strong in and out of the classroom before the closing of the school year. And as a senior, I would like to thank everyone for the opportunity to represent Y High. And thank you.
Jessica, thank you. And I wish you the best in your endeavors in the future.
Where is she going to college?
Howard University.
Howard University. Next we have Parkside High School. Sarah and Ashley Stillman. Ashley's not here. Sarah's not here. All year they've been tag teaming, so you get to do it all your last night by yourself.
I know. Right. Good evening. Wow, what a year this has been. With the seniors counting down the days until we walk across the stage, we are soaking in the final days at Parkside. Prom is this coming weekend, May 18th, and we are very excited for that. Our theme is City of Stars, which is our take on Hollywood, and let me tell you, the students, senior parents, advisors have put in a lot of hard work to make sure this is the best prom yet. Our Grand March, prom, and after prom will all be held at the Civic Center, and once students leave for the night, they will not be able to re-enter. In sports, unfortunately, girls lacrosse got knocked out of the playoffs last week to North Carolina. Their final record was 7-5. Boys lacrosse played yesterday with their record before the game being 11-2. Our boys lacrosse team won to Kent Island. We are so proud of them. Baseball's record is currently 11-10, and they play Queen Anne's. Softball's record is 8-8, and they play Queen Anne's tomorrow too for their playoff games, and we wish them good luck. In track and field, girls 4x400 relay team is Bayside's champs, and they set a new school record. Parkside's Bayside Scholar Athlete Award winner were Hannah Mascara and Asher Amy, and we are extremely proud of their accomplishments. Yesterday, we held our Spring Sports Awards to celebrate our wonderful spring athletes. Next week is extremely busy for our seniors. Tuesday is our athletic awards, where they'll find out if they are the MVP or unsung hero of their teams. Wednesday, during second period, is our class pictures and senior awards at night. And Thursday is baccalaureate. Finally, Friday is mock crash, where Y-High is putting on the real-life scenario, what would happen if you drink and drive. On Wednesday, our school has hosted the first career and military signing day. We want to show the students that there is more options post-graduation than college, and we would like to thank everyone that came out and supported these students. On April 26th and through 28th, the musical Mamma Mia was put on at Y-High. It was a great production that over 900 people came to enjoy. This past Saturday, our concert choir competed at Busch Gardens and received first overall. Their concert is today, and that's where Sarah is. The past Saturday was also staged for orchestra solo and ensemble, where 5 people competed and did awesome. As we welcome back our robotics team for the global finals, we are excited to wish our Carpe Diem DI team luck on their way to globals on May 22nd. In horticulture, May Day was a huge success. Government workers and farmers came to hand out seeds to the horticulture students. And last week was the big week for appreciation. We recognized Mental Health Awareness Month with activities to spread information about mental health illnesses. Along these activities, we thank the teachers for their hard work during Teacher Appreciation Week.
Thank you. And we appreciate your reports to the board all year long on what's going on at Parkside.
Thank you.
Thank you. And good luck to you. Where are you going to school before she asks the question?
I'm going to Towson.
Towson University. What are you majoring in?
Exercise science.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And where is Sarah going?
She's going to Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah. And then I also have Mardella's report because she can't come.
Okay. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. So I'm going to pretend to be her because she talks in first person. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry I'm unable to attend tonight. Currently, I'm attending the award ceremony for band students. I'm eating cake. I'm having a good time. Anyway, here's what's going on at Mardella. First and foremost, the county council has decided to remove renovations to Mardella and from its plans. This is unfortunate and has upset many parents, students, community members, and staff members that are affected. Not only has our school not had renovations since our parents attended, but with growing numbers of attendees, we're running out of space. On a brighter note, our athletic program are in full swing. Our boys baseball team worked their way to Bayside South champs and have won their first playoff game. The girls softball team is having their first playoff game tonight. At the Bayside track meet, numerous teams members finished in the top 10, and 3 members finished in the top 3. The team eagerly prepares for their regional track meets Thursday and Saturday. Speaking of track and field, work has begun to finish the track and field equipment and stands. With these renovations, our teams will be able to hold track meets and have rubberized track, something that the team members have dreamed about. The middle and high school bands travel to states to perform their programs. The middle school band received an overall excellent rating, and the high school band earned superior ratings, a feature that has never been accomplished by our band entering at grade 4 ranking. Junior and seniors had the time of their life at this year's prom, themed The Great Gatsby. The night was full of music, good food, and memories. All party goers participated in Grand March before prom, an opportunity for parents and friends to see their classmates all dressed up. The SGA held its annual talent show last month. It was a hit and amazing to see hidden talents among the student body. The SGA is holding their first final Spirit Week of the year. Monday was Green and Gold Day, today was Celebrity Day, Wednesday is Tacky Tourist Day, Thursday is Twin Day, and Friday is Meme Day. We kicked off the week with a pep rally, allowing students a time to relax during the swamp test. The SGA is holding its final event for the year, a color run, next Friday. It's a 5K run with a colorful twist. We're working on building our ranks for next year. Sign-ups for SGA and class officers have been posted around the school. Some more achievements that Mardella students' body have accomplished include our robotics team traveling to Worlds. They sacrificed prom night to compete. Our marching band won grand champs for the 6th year out of 7. They marched in the rain and bonded as a team. We had 7 students inducted in the Spanish Honor Society a few weeks ago. Their ceremony was short and sweet. Lastly, AP testing is in full swing and our students are so excited to test their knowledge. That's all for Mardella this month, and I can't wait to wrap up the year next month.
Well, thank you, Ashley, but I'd like for you to pass on to Tiana. As of this morning, with the meetings with the Board of Ed and the county executive, they've agreed to put $200,000 and keep Mardella in the queue. So Mardella will keep the process going, so if you would pass that on.
I'll let her know.
And anybody here to read? Thank you. And James M. Bennett, Miss Lee. Good evening. What's going on at Bennett?
First of all, good evening to all the board members. There are a lot of things going on at JMB right now. For our students, May is one of the best months and the worst months. It is the month of a prom, but it is month of AP exams. It is the last month for seniors, but it is the last full month that students who are not senior, like me, need to endure before summer breaks come. Following 3 confusing park testing weeks and the memorable junior and senior banquet, our students had a great prom on May 4th. But the life of a high school student is always difficult. Right after prom, many students had to take AP exams. Some students even say they're going to take AP exam prep book to prom and study. Thank goodness I could stop them. All students enjoyed prom and put forward their best effort to show how they mastered the subject they have been learning since the beginning of a school year. AP exams are about to finish. For the next 3 days, many JMB students are taking the language and composition, statistics, and world history exams. Please wish them luck. Although summer break is coming soon, there are many events happening in JMB. Our student government just started our leukemia fundraisers, and our sophomore classes had a Mother's Day brunch as their fundraiser. Also, JMB is inviting you and everyone in the community to the JMB Family Field Day on May 18th. Join us for free food, music, and fun. Most importantly, the first ever spikeball tournament is happening at the shipyard. We hope to see you at the JMB shipyard on May 18 with your family. And the best thing about this is everything is food. Everything is food, yeah. We are going to have really good food, and it's free. Moreover, a memorial event will be held for Miss Littleberg tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. in the JMB Garden. Please join us in our beautiful JMB Garden to remember a wonderful teacher and JMB family member. Every year goes by fast, but this year seems to be the quickest year yet. There are only a few days left to see our loving senior in the hallways in JMB. They have been great role models for the underclassmen. As a representative of the underclassmen, I thank all our seniors for being the best. Please wish them good luck as they move into their new chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. .5 public comments. We don't have any. So we move along to 3.6 superintendent's report. And Dr. Hannon, I think you have a lot.
I have a number of things, but they're all really opportunities to share some great things with our community. I want to start with, once again, an opportunity to recognize our very wonderful Teacher of the Year, Shane Morton. Shane is here with us this evening. Shane is a pre-kindergarten teacher at Del Mar. And Shane, we have some special guests with us this evening who would like to present you with recognition. We're going to start this evening with Senator Mary Beth Carrozza, who is with us. Thank you so much, Senator, for being with us. Am I okay without a mic? Does that come out?
I wanted to step here so all of you could see our Teacher of the Year. First of all, greetings to our superintendent and our esteemed Board of Education and to everyone that's come out tonight. I really appreciated this opportunity to, in person, honor our Teacher of the Year. What I didn't realize is that I would have a special treat beforehand with that outstanding Pledge of Allegiance by Reggie. Let's hear it for Reggie. And when I asked Reggie what was his favorite part about 5th grade, he told me the homework, and I was astounded. So, and we talked about maybe in the future that Reggie might work down at NASA Wallop. So I told him I had just been down there, and they were looking for some talent. So good for you, Reggie. And then I appreciate the reports. They were thorough and comprehensive, and I think those of us who are not here day in and day out at those schools now know a little bit more about what's going on. But now it's all about you. Okay. I have the opportunity tonight, and I still, it's very humbling to come before you to recognize you. We actually have I have two citations. One is an official citation from the Maryland Senate, and another one is from Governor Hogan. So if I could just indulge for a minute. I have to tell you, whenever I'm around teachers in general and then a Teacher of the Year, automatically straighten up. But before I officially present this to you, Ms. Morton, I just wanted all of us to take a step back and to think about all of the lives, your young students that you are impacting, but then you start to multiply that with all the families and that trickle effect. And that the seeds that you are planting with your willingness to be so involved and dedicated and your leadership, really those seeds are planted today and they will blossom in the future, and you won't even be able to see all of their accomplishments. But I think it's important that we really stop and think about that. So it really is humbling to be able to present to you this official citation. I like to do the official, be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to Shane Morton in recognition of receiving the 2019 Wicomico County Teacher of the Year Award. Let's hear it. We join together to commend you for your leadership at Del Mar Elementary School and commitment to quality education and student excellence. And this is something that I have sponsored as your senator, and it is just wonderful to be able to present this to you in person. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
But it's not over yet. There's more. Now, I have plenty of witnesses tonight. When I'm asked to present Governor Hogan's citations, I'm also asked to report back. Did they really get presented? So I have plenty of witnesses tonight, and I think this is on film. So anyway, to be in this position to represent the governor and that he's allowing me to recognize you with his citation also is very humbling. And this is another official. It is from the governor of the state of Maryland to Shane Morton, Wicomico County Teacher of the Year, Del Mar Elementary School. Greetings. Be it known, because of your demonstration of high integrity and ability, meriting our great trust and respect, we are most pleased to award you this Governor citation in appreciation of your outstanding services to the citizens of this state. And it is signed by our Governor, Larry Hogan. Congratulations. And there's more?
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Yes, we also have with us tonight Bill Reddish. He is from Congressman Harris's office, also to present.
To make it a little presentation here.
Yes.
I promise I won't start doing any karaoke or anything like that. It's my pleasure to be here to represent Congressman Harris. As you know, the 1st District of Maryland stretches from Smith Island and Wicomico all the way out to the Frederick County line. It encompasses all or part of half of the counties in the state. So it's almost impossible for the congressman to be everywhere he'd like to be. He would love to be here tonight, but I think they're actually voting right now on Capitol Hill. They're in session at this moment. So it's my pleasure to be here to represent the congressman. That's a good thing, because that's why I have a job, and I like that very much. The congressman, of course, is a Hopkins-trained anesthesiologist. He's also spent some time in front of a classroom, and he knows how important education is. There's a lot of successful people in this room tonight, but it all started with a teacher. You know, no matter what field you go into, somebody had to teach you. So without a doubt, it's probably the most important job there is in the world. So on behalf of Congressman Harris, I don't have a proclamation. Ours aren't quite as wordy. Okay. And you'll have to buy a slightly smaller frame. But on behalf of Congressman Harris, I'd like to present you with this Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition, presented to Shane Morton in recognition of Wicomico County Teacher of the Year 2019, 20, and 2020. And we took the liberty of dating it on the evening that you were actually announced, March 28th. So it's dated for that and signed by Dr. Harris. Dr. Hanley, can you indulge me for a 30-second PSA? Okay, a public service. I'm going back to my old radio days now. Public service announcement. We do this every spring. Congressman Harris's office is hosting an Service Academy Night Forum coming up this coming Wednesday. We've sent out the notifications. We sent one to you. We do this every spring, and one of the great things that Congressman Harris gets to do is to nominate young students to the service academies. And if these young folks are looking for especially an engineering degree or something along that line, you can't pick a better school than one of our service academies. He gets to nominate 10 students per school, of which the school has to take one. Sometimes they take more than one, but it's up to the school to actually do the admissions. But there is a process that the students need to go through to prepare to actually make the application. So we invite all 8th through 11th graders, those that are entering 8th through 11th grade next year, to come out this coming Wednesday to the Black Diamond Lodge in Fruitland. We will have representatives there from all of the service academies, including the ones you don't need a congressional appointment for, like the Coast Guard Academy. They'll be there and the Merchant Marine Academy. And we're in the process of trying to get ROTC representative there as well. But this is, we will go through the process of what you have to do through our office to get a nomination. And then we also have the representatives there to talk one-on-one with individual students that might have personal questions about what they're studying, what they're doing, this kind of thing, in order to maybe get a little bit of a leg up on getting into a service academy. It's great. They pay for your education, and you come out making close to a 6-figure salary. It's a wonderful thing to do. So again, thank you for indulging me. Congratulations to you. Did we get our pictures? Okay. I got it. Okay, thank you again, Dr. Hanlon, and congratulations to you.
Yes, Shane, once again, congratulations. You're welcome. So the next part of my report is also very much a pleasure, and that is to introduce our partners at Horizons to come to the desk and present to us their annual report on what's happening in the Horizons summer program. So we have the president, I believe, of their board, Gil
Yes, ma'am.
Allen, and we have their new executive director, Joe LeKay.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for your all's time tonight. My name is Gil Allen. I am the newly minted chairman of the board of Horizon Salisbury. I'm here tonight to thank each and every one of you for your continued support of the Horizons program. Without the Wicomico County Board of Education, we could not do what we do each and every summer for students in Wicomico County. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Joe LeKay. Joe came on as our new executive director starting January 1st. He has already hit the ground running. He's prepared some remarks tonight just to present you all with an update of exactly what we do each and every summer. Before I hand it over to Joe, I also just want to point to your all's attention. We have our program director, Dr. Donnell Van Houten, here with us, and we have several parents, current students, and alumni of the program who you'll be hearing from shortly. So, Joe, take it away.
Yes, hi. As Mr. Allen said, my name is Joe LeKay. I'm the new executive director for Horizon Salisbury. Again, thank you for the support of the Wicomico County Board of Education. Without the support that we receive from the board, we would not be able to operate at the capacity that we do. For those unaware, Horizons is a nonprofit program. We provide academic resources to low-income children throughout Wicomico County. And I have just a short 82-slide PowerPoint. I'm kidding. It's like 5 slides. Just to show some of the trends and the results of students in our program. So Horizons is a national network that serves across the country at different universities, a multitude of counties. Horizons Salisbury was one of a handful of programs studied in an 2018 success study by Horizons National. The results of the Horizons program has, throughout the academic school year, shown higher attendance rates, lower rates of chronic absenteeism, higher scores of standardized assessments in math and science, higher GPA averages, fewer disciplinary referrals. The national network in 2018 served almost 6,000 low-income youth through 59 separate affiliate programs across 19 states. So again, our program is one of many serving across the country. Kind of narrowing down to Horizon Salisbury in particular, in 2018 we served 140 low-income Wicomico County students, grades 1 through 9. We did this, served students from 21 different Wicomico County schools, and we do serve at 2 host sites, one being Salisbury University, one being the Salisbury School. We separate our students. The younger half of the kids go to the Salisbury School. The older half go to Salisbury University. It kind of exposes them to that higher education campus. Just to show kind of the purpose of Horizons, this graph right here shows the average, not our students, but what is called the summer slide. So you see children from middle class families and higher class families. During the summertime, they have the opportunity of engaging in youth camps or family trips, things that naturally instill a desire and passion for learning, even though they don't know they're learning. So you'll see when the students from middle class families and those in a more disadvantaged situation, they learn at approximately the same rate throughout the school year. But during that summer vacation period, students from a disadvantaged background, studies have shown that they can fall behind up to 2 months worth of learning. So when the next school year starts, you see they continue to grow at the same rate, but the students are behind. And this is in 1 year. So you can imagine if this starts in the first grade, the disadvantaged students already start about a month's worth behind. Again, they didn't naturally have those educational experiences. And you imagine 12 years of this right here shows why students from disadvantaged families, it's so easy to fall in that trend of showing a lack of academic success comparatively. However, we have some stats here. We test all of our students before the summer program and after the summer program. This chart right here shows the number of months of academic success grown throughout the summer. The yellow one shows overall the average of our students, and the red shows students who came in below their grade level. So grades 1 through 5, you see that they're about the same, but either way, all of our students, instead of losing, gained almost 2.5 months throughout our 6-week summer program. And in reading, again, overall, they gained around over 1.5 months of knowledge, and the students that came in below grade level got almost 2.5 months worth of progression in their academic studies. And again, comparatively to losing 2 months, this shows the success of it. Again, here's our older children, grades 6 through 9. Again, you see that the overall benefit of our program, but especially in the students that came in below grade level, they just flourished through our program, and again, just kind of make up that summer slide that they may have experienced previously. Overall, how does this affect Wicomico County students? This shows average year-round GPAs of farm students, free and reduced meal. You'll see the non-Horizon students versus the Horizon students. Across the board, students in our program are showing academic success year-round, and we're very proud of that. We base our success. We're not a camp. We're not a summer camp. We're not. Yes, our children enjoy the program. They have a lot of fun, but the results are what matter. And seeing this right here really shows the benefit of the Horizons program. So, last slide I have for you guys here is just. At Horizons, we made the conscious and calculated decision to not stay complacent and to grow in the children we're serving. So you'll see over the past 3 years, we have continued to grow in the number of students that we have been serving. This year, we will be serving 160 low-income students throughout Wicomico County, which is the most that we've ever served. So this, again, shows the statistical benefits of it, but I think that where the real benefit comes is the personal story. So I'd like to invite Dr. Van Holten up to introduce one of our parents who has 2 children in our program to just give you a quick real-life story of our program.
Okay, we'll just stand over here. Hi, good evening. Thank you again for having us here at the Board of Ed so we can share some of our success stories with you. And again, thanks for all the support that you've given us throughout the year. We're going into our 16th summer, so thank you for all you've done. This year we have Chanel Armstrong. She's going to talk a little bit about how Horizons has impacted her, and then her daughter Brielle and her son Avery has a little bit of words to say as well.
Good evening, everyone. How y'all doing? Nice to see you all. We've been with Horizons now for 3 years. Brielle started in the program of summer 16. She went in and totally loved it, the interaction. She's not a sit-still, quiet kind of gal. So when she got into the program, she heard she was going to be in a summer school, and she didn't kind of like that at first. But as soon as she got in and she saw all the friends, it's very hands-on, it's very interactive. She never comes home with a sob story at all. And then when you include she'll tell you about that in a moment, the added benefit that comes along with it is very positive for the kids. For me, it's positive because they don't have the downward slope that they usually have during the summertime. I work all year round, so I don't have the ability to enforce what I hope they're doing during the day while I'm working. So Horizons does give me that relief that they're not losing anything, and they're going to continue on. And they don't even realize that they're getting the enrichment while they're out of school. They're having so much fun and interacting so much. So I'm grateful to the program. I hope to never come out of it. I praise it to everybody that comes along. I even take waiting list names for people, and I pass along to as many people in the program as I can, because it is awesome. But I'll let my kids tell you more about that. Go, Mommy. Say hello.
Hello.
Be nice. Tell her about the program.
I like it because I like to go swimming and I like to go to Jolly Rogers.
And what else do you do during the day?
We go to recess.
The typical things, I guess.
We have math, and we have lunch.
What do you like about it?
What I like about it?
Yeah, subjects and stuff.
I like math because it's not hard.
That's a good one. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Do you want to go back this summer? Good to know. Let your brother know.
Hey, good evening. What I like about Horizons is that I made a lot of friends there. I had some good times. There were some good times and some bad times, but it was mostly good times. We did a project about these states in Africa, and I did one about Ethiopia. Like my sister said, we go swimming and we went to Jolly Rogers, but since I do not know how to swim or float, they do teach me how to swim and float, and one of my favorite things was playing dodgeball, because it was really athletic and it was really fun. So my favorite thing was doing the project, because sometimes I like to do projects.
Thank you.
Thank you all for the time tonight. As you heard, one of the fundamentals of the program, and this is a national for Horizons Nationals, is we do provide our students with swimming lessons, which they might not otherwise have the opportunity to partake in, and obviously they seem to be a big hit. So thank you all very much for your time tonight and your continued support of Horizons.
Thank you for being such great partners. So the next part of my report, and I'm going to ask Mr. Fitzgerald to join me, and also Deb Souza. We are doing something. I'll come around to the microphone. Doing something that I don't believe we've done this before, but I think it's time that we do, and that is recognize some of our unsung heroes, people who we count on to a very large degree every day in our school system, and that is our substitute teachers. And we have a list of teachers here, substitute teachers, who have been with us for 10 or more years, providing service in our classrooms on a consistent basis. So I'm going to start with Reginda Kerr. If you'll come down, Reginda. I have we have for you, thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald, a Golden Apple Award. And for all those that we are recognizing tonight, for your service to our students and for substituting in our classrooms. We really appreciate it. And she has been doing this for 11 years with us, so thank you so much. Next we have Herman Turner. Is Herman with us this evening? Herman has also been at this not so easy work, I would say, for 11 years with our school system. Mr. Turner, thank you so much for your assistance. Phyllis Thomas. Is Phyllis with us? There she is. Phyllis has been substituting in our classrooms for 12 years. So thank you very much, Phyllis. Next we have Lavanzella Siggers. Is Ms. Siggers here? She's not. She's coming, or she did leave. Okay. Well, Ms. Ziggers has been helping us for 12 years as well. Mildred Ballard. Is Mildred with us? Here she is. Mildred has been working in our schools now as a substitute for 14 years. Thank you so much, Mildred. Barbara Johnson, who has been working for 14 years as well with our students. Elena Bagwell. Is Elena with us? Great. Elena has also been substituting with us for 14 years. Thank you so much. Trina Savage. Trina is hiding back there in the back row. Trina has been working with us for 15 years. Thank you so much. Rosalind Okafor. I probably didn't say that right. I apologize. Rosalind's with us this evening. And she has been at this challenging work for 16 years. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Helen Brotnick. Helen with us. There she is. And Helen's been working with us for 17 years. Thank you so much. Did you realize I've been that long?
Yeah, I've been here since 2001.
Yeah, you have. Thank you so much. Devoy Taylor. She's coming. And Devoy has also been working with us for 17 years. Thank you so much. Deborah Wright. Is Deborah with us this evening? You get the idea, I'm going up in years here. Deborah has been with us for 18 years. Thank you so much. Eleanor Sankbell, also been working with us for 18 years. Robert Starkey. Robert has been working with us for 20 years. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Carol Wenrick. Is Carol with us? Carol is with us, and Carol has been helping us for 27 years. You know, these ladies and gentlemen are indeed unsung heroes, because to be a substitute teacher, if you've never done that, is not an easy task, and certainly we really appreciate all of the efforts that you make every day, coming to our rescue every day. serving us in our classrooms and working with our students. So thank you. And I also want to recognize Deb Souza. Deb is in our Human Resources Department, and she works very closely with our substitute teachers and has many years been doing that. So thank you, Deb. 17 years, yes, so thank you. And to Vince Pavick, our Human Resources Director. So thank you so much.
Dr. Hamlin, I'd like to note that Mr. Turner, Herman Turner, is a product of our school system. Not only that, he and I were in elementary school together, middle and high school together, and roommates in college. He's also a 40-year retired teacher of the school system. And Herm, good luck, and thanks for all that you do. Yes, yes. Correct.
Oh, Tracy has them. Okay. Oh, am I next? Yes. So we're it's now time to recognize our extra mile winners. Mr. Butler is unable to be with us this evening, but we have Mrs. Saylor, our public information officer, who's with us to assist us with this evening.
Okay, the awards keep coming because we're an award-winning school system and an award-giving school system. And because she's right here in front, we are going to start with the first of our extra mile winners, who is Grace Lamboni, a physical education teacher at Pinehurst Elementary School. And will you come on up? And I don't know if Jill Gilmore is here, but she was nominated by Jill Gilmore, and she's welcome to come up as well if she would like. Grace Lamboni is a Pinehurst Panther through and through. She extends her lessons to include all aspects of health outside of physical activity. She's been instrumental in making the students leaders, role models, and peers with the AAA patrols mornings and afternoons, and she ensures a safe walk home. She's created a wonderful cross-country team at Pinehurst, and you may have heard of the jump rope team that bridges the gap between young and old and also goes to a lot of other schools to demonstrate what they do. She does so much to try to improve things at Pinehurst and is involved in giving community service opportunities to middle and high school students at her school. And she was nominated for this by Jill Gilmore, who's an instructional assistant at Pinehurst, and we are most happy to present you with your Extra Mile Award.
I have to tell you, this is not the usual Extra Mile award itself. I'm understanding that when we went to pick them up today, they had run out of the award that we typically give. So this is a substitute for the award tonight. You're going to be receiving the real thing shortly. Okay.
It looks good. But you get to keep that too.
You get to keep that. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Grace. Thank you.
And now do we also have Michelle Twilley in the house? Oh boy, come on down. She's a school program coordinator from Beaver Run, Wicomico Early Learning Center. And she was nominated because she just does so much on a daily basis to make her school a better place with activities like Breakfast with Buddy, active parenting, bedtime in a box, and more. She helps with Adopt a Block and does so much to build connections with families and the neighborhood. But that's not even why she was nominated for the award. Grace Oland, a teacher at the school, nominated her, excuse me, because she said what's most impressive about Michelle is her ability to bring hope to a family, even on their worst day. Recently, when a student's family was evicted from their home, Michelle immediately reached out to help. Beaver Run has many families in transition and lots of families who are just looking for a spark of hope, and Michelle is that spark. She's also jumped on board to help Junior, a kindergarten student who's battling cancer for the second time in just over a year. And so outside of the school day, she's helped organize benefit days at Market Street that are coming up on May 16th and 19th to raise funds for his family. She hadn't even met the student when she started this project. So she heard the story, realized help was needed, and jumped in, and that's why we are proud to present you with your Extra Mile Award.
Please come out to Market Street.
Congratulations again to our Extra Mile Award winners, and thank you so much for all you do every day. So 2 more very quick things. I had the pleasure of sharing with the board earlier this evening some administrative promotions and transfers and new hires, and I'm going to just go down through. I'm not going to go through them all. There'll be a full press release tomorrow and an internal announcement, but I would like to announce some of those in terms of principal and supervisor. So we congratulate Don Brady, who was recently, within the last couple of weeks, promoted to Director of Secondary Education. We are also congratulating Ron Green, who will be the next principal of Wicomico High School. Aaron Nathan, who will be the next principal of Bennett Middle School. Christelle Savage, principal of James M. Bennett High School. Chris Gosnell, principal of Pittsville Elementary and Middle School. Terrence Dunn, principal of Salisbury Middle School. Melissa Eiler, supervisor of Early Childhood. Ryan Kessler, principal of Pemberton Elementary. Kevin Smith, principal of Pinehurst. Aaron Deal, supervisor of Technology and New Teacher Induction. And as I said, there are other assistant principals and deans of students on our promotion list. They will be included in our press release and internal announcement tomorrow. So congratulations, and Kevin, since you're here, congratulations to you. And not quite as interesting as any of that is our grants report, Dr. Briggs.
Somebody's got to do it. This month we will not be having a special grant presentation because of time's sake, but I do want to share that the grant report for the month of April is available in board docs and shows that during the past month we received funding for 3 grants, 2 from the Maryland Center for School Safety and 1 from the Wicomico County Health Department, the Opioid Operational Command Center. In total, the grants provide over $368,000 for our school system to assist in providing a safe and secure learning environment for our students and to support us as we join with others in the county to combat the opioid crisis facing our community. That's all.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Well, before we move on to 4.1, Kevin, Mr. Smith, that's all right. You can talk in class now. On behalf of the board, congratulations. And you can tell the Reverend his sales pitch the other night worked. Not really. That was cute. But again, good luck. You have a young lady over here. You listen to her, you won't go wrong. Just ask Pat.
Ask Pat, right?
Again, congratulations. Moving on, 4.1. Entertain a motion to approve the open session minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, same. Thank you. You're all welcome to stay. We got a few more. Moving on to consent items. For the public that is here, all board members have had the opportunity to go over 5.1 to 5.5. And if they had any questions, they contacted the superintendent. I haven't heard of any. So I entertain a motion to accept the consent items?
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Against, same. Thank you. 6.1. 4 Destination Imagination teams. North Salisbury, 2 teams. Salisbury Middle and Parkside High from Wicomico County Public Schools qualified to advance to global finals at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, May the 22nd to the 27th. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, is there a motion to approve a donation of $1,200, $300 per team, to assist with travel expenses?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Discussion. Mrs. Bounds, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Look like you got plenty of help tonight.
I do.
Good.
I do. Thank you. I look forward to this time every year when we get to thank you for your support, your year-long support for DI. The DI program in Wicomico County serves over 300 children from kindergarten to 12th grade. This year we had 36 teams who competed locally. 20 of those teams went to the state tournament, and 4 teams are advancing to global finals. I brought with me one of those teams. This is the, combination Bennett Parkside Carpe Diem team. They placed second at states, but first in instant challenge, which there's only one first in instant challenge for that division. And they received the Renaissance Award for outstanding skill and exceptional creativity. I also brought one of our school facilitators, Ronna Biedenauer, because I want you to clearly understand the big role that school facilitators play in each of the schools. Now, this team, this particular team, was invited. They're pretty special. Some of them have been with DI for 10 years, and since first grade, and they've done some pretty incredible things. One of them, several years ago, one of the special things they did several years ago, when they were creating their service learning challenge, which was the chosen challenge out of 7 that they chose to do. They created a service learning challenge in the form of a staff versus student basketball fundraiser. It was called Hoops for Hamza. You may remember that. It was to support a classmate who had leukemia. It's now become an annual event for the past 4 years at Bennett Middle School, raising funds for students and alumni with cancer in Wicomico County. And this past year, it supported Spencer Wiersberg, and I will let them share their thoughts and feelings with you because I think the best information comes from the participants. So are you the one talking about that project?
Actually, that would be
Okay.
Abby.
Abby, you come first. And then each one of them will just share a few insights with you.
So I was part of the team that did Hoops for Hamza, and it was kind of an emotional time because we all have that loved one, and Sammy was our friend. And when you hear that someone that you know loved has fallen ill, it hurts a lot, and we really wanted to help him. So we did this whole fundraiser for him, and it's kind of cool knowing that we actually did something that has impacted the community for this long, and it's just really cool.
Hello, I'm Abraham, and I haven't been on the team as long as some of the others have, but I view DI as an outlet to express myself and pursue interests, because DI not only has given me the resources, but it's also given me the support of my teammates and their help in helping me to grow and helping me to find new ways to help my community and improve myself.
It's a DI challenge.
My name is Sarah. I'm one of the people that's been on the team for 10 years.
I guess the best part of DI for me is that I've met my best friends for life and the people that I'm going to love for the rest of my life. It's kind of crazy because we all, like at school, we're all really different people, but we all have similar interests, and when we come together to like express ourselves, it just means a lot to all of us to be able to share an experience together. And I think it's one of the best parts of my life.
I'm Aiden. I haven't been on the team for too long either, but I learned through DI that there are a lot of important skills that you can pick up through just sitting in a basement and working hard together, because that's kind of what we did. And this year alone, we've accomplished a lot of amazing things. Like, we were able to build a drone from scratch after doing tons of research, and it's taken us this far. And we were also able to build a set and write a whole story. It just means a lot to me that we can all get along and work together and still learn things. I really enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I've also been on DI for 10 years now. DI has just been a real creative outlet for me. I love doing things with my hands and creating things, and this has been a place where I've always been able to do that, and we've always worked together. We've created like an entire musical, an 8-minute musical for our challenge last year. One of our two of our teammates actually this year created a whole like musical soundtrack for our performance, and we've been able to build sets and all these amazing props, and I've learned so many new skills, like both technical and creative, and it's just really been like really enjoyable and has taught me a lot in life.
Rana. Rana will be traveling with the team as their school facilitator.
Well, I've been on DEI for 14 years. They do a lot of creative problem solving, but they also learn a lot of soft skills, how to work as a team, how to decide what your team's going to do and move forward with it, how to handle being on time to meetings and what happens when you don't go to the meeting and the team decides something without you. So through this, it's not something that we can actually get to in the classroom very often because of the curriculum. Some of that stuff, we miss some of those things. So it's an outlet for the children to be able to do that and be able to give them those skills so they can move on. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a STEM team, by the way. They chose this year's challenge with a technical challenge. So we're proud of what you do. Thank you.
Mr. Fitzgerald, while they're here, 2 Saturdays ago, these young people had a car wash at Parkside, and while their parents and some of the other students were washing their car, I had a chance to talk to some of these young people. I think I was very proud and very impressed when I left, and them telling me about their trip and building their drone, and I'm just so proud of all of you, and I really enjoyed our conversation while your parents or somebody was washing my car.
And thank you for your support in coming to the tournament.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
I really enjoyed it. And you, 36 teams? I thought there was 136 teams.
Well, that was a regional tournament. So
the regional.
36 were from just our county.
Right. I know there were more than 36 teams there because I fell over most of them.
70.
I never seen children, but it was so well organized, Susan. It really, really was. And but I'm so proud of this group. And one of the young ladies, I happened to play bridge with her grandmother, and I know her grandmother is so proud of her. That's how I found out about it.
Well, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Now you get a chance to vote in favor of supporting them. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against. Susan again. Thank you. Young people, keep up the good work.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
You role models for Wicomico County. Seriously. Take it back to your school and be a super role model. Thank you.
Thank you.
6.2, 3 students who attended Parkside CTE and competed at the Maryland Skills USA Championship will be competing at the National Skills USA Conference held in June in Louisville, Kentucky. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, is there a motion to approve a donation of $300, $100 per student, to assist with travel expense?
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, same. Thank you. 6.3. The Tech Tigers VEX robotics team competed at the Delmarva State competition in March. As part of the Alliance team, they won the tournament championship, which qualified them to participate in the VEX World Championship competition held in April in Louisville, Kentucky. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, is there a motion to approve a donation of $300 to assist with travel expense?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, same. Thank you. 6.4, budget transfers. Upon the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion to approve the budget transfers as presented by the controller for the month of May 2019?
So moved.
I got a motion.
Second.
I got a second. Discussion.
We're going to make it harder for you.
We'll worry there.
I was waiting, Jesse.
Got you.
Jesse.
Good evening, Chairman Fitzgerald, Dr.
Good evening.
Hanlon, board members. You have before you a list of year-end transfers that have been submitted by various directors and department managers. These transfers represent year-end alignment of funds to provide for year-end projects and enable our department managers to bring their budgets within alignment for year-end closing. And I stand ready to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, same. Jesse, you get off late.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
6.6, informational only. Excuse me, 6.5. And that's informational only also. Presentation by Mrs. Ashby. How are you?
I'm great, Mr. Fitzgerald. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm jumping ahead.
Are we having technical?
No, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. It's not the PowerPoint. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Good evening, Mr. Fitzgerald, Dr. Hanlon, and board members. I know I'm between you and closing the rest of your meeting out, so I will try to be.
We're ahead of schedule, so you're
I'm
good.
brief. Very briefly, we want to go through kind of as a primer to the Educational Facilities Master Plan and the Capital Improvement Plan, which is the overall capital improvement program. Several of you are aware we've had many changes at the state over the course of the last year, and those changes continue. So we're going to try to give you a snippet of where that is in the overall process. Just really quick, the Planning and Construction Department has a couple of different mechanisms. We're responsible for the overall capital improvement program, which is the master plan and the capital plan. We also oversee the capital outlay budget, and my department also does projected enrollments. Construction, we have what I like to call several different tools in the toolbox. We have job order contracts. We do single and multiple systemics, limited renovations, as well as major capital improvements, including replacement buildings. The program consists of two major documents, the Educational Facilities Master Plan, as well as the Capital Improvement Plan. The Master Plan analyzes the data and starts to set priorities, and the Capital Improvement Plan puts dollars associated with those, and you can see the submission dates below each individual item. The IAC used to be the Committee on Public School Construction is now the Commission on Public School Construction. We did put on here the names of all of the representatives and how they came to be placed on this commission, and it is still being chaired by Dr. Salmon, State Superintendent of Schools. And this is just a brief snippet from one of their meetings. The Board of Public Works is no longer involved. All decisions are now being made by the IAC regarding public school construction projects. A couple new funding sources that have become available to us: the School Safety Grant Program, it's SSGP as the abbreviation. It's a rather lengthy application process. We've been utilizing those funds to assist safe school priorities associated with secure vestibules. Last year, we were allocated $162,000. This year, they decided to have a minimum threshold of $200,000. So if you were a smaller county, you would at least get $200,000. So we applied for additional secure vestibules with that money. There was a Senate Bill 611 called the Healthy School Facility Fund. There was an appropriation. We have not received procedure guides yet. We're continuing to monitor those, and then we will align projects that might benefit from those funding sources. There were also two work groups established as part of the House Bill. I'm going to forget the number now. Anyways, the first one was an educational development specifications. They've been meeting throughout the course of the year. They're saying they're not developing a standard educational specification. However, they are making adjustments to what they think minimum thresholds should be. This is still a work in progress. They are meeting in another 2 weeks, but this is just a snippet of one of their objectives. Some miscellaneous state items. They did things that are in place and things that are pending, because there's still lots of things coming through. In place, they did establish Maryland Public School Facilities Educational Sufficiency Standards. That's a lot to say. LEAs are now fully responsible for any change orders associated with construction documents. They're no longer carrying a contingency amount when you're applying for construction funds. There is a shift to best value procurement. Kind of like for us, it's similar to like the two-step construction management selection process, if that helps put that into perspective. Some things that are pending. The IAC did approve revisions to COMAR. Now there's a state process by which they go through. Nothing major. There was some discussion about potentially eliminating the community use square footage. You may recall we usually try to utilize 3,000 additional square feet available. We were able to keep that in, so we're pleased that that has remained. Again, it was House Bill 1783. There was also a funding work group requirement. They have not established that yet. The IAC staff does plan on having a meeting towards the end of the month, and I noticed that is one of the agenda items, so we look forward to hearing how that work group is going to come together. The governor had the Build to Learn Act of 2019. You probably were tracking it. It was a significant amount of funds. It originally came out that it was going to be a requirement to access those funds through the Maryland Stadium Authority. That got revised over the course of time. We're being told the good news is everybody at the state thinks that they should be allocating more money towards school construction. However, they're not exactly in agreement about how or which mechanism they want to provide those additional funds. Representatives that may believe that this will continue to come up every year. The state is trying to conduct their own set of school facilities assessment, and I'm going to touch briefly on our data associated with that. They've issued an RFP. However, we've not been told whether they've hired a consultant or when that was going to start. They were supposed to have them done by July 1st, 2019, which is only about 2 months away. So that's officially behind schedule right now. They're also talking about establishing a revolving loan that's supposed to be loan fund. Yeah, it's one mistake. Wicomico County Public Schools has several data indicators that we use. I think a lot of people think we sit in an office and we throw a dart at a dartboard to decide how we're going to structure certain plans. That's not the case. I don't want to read all of these. If you have specific questions about them, I'd be happy to answer them. Our facility condition index is what we started with. That has to do with kind of failing systems and ages of facilities. The program index has to do with, do we have adequate square footage to deliver certain instructional programs? And if we don't, what is that deficit? Our FQI, or Facility Quality Index, that's a combination of the condition index as well as the program index. And our utilization percentage, that's measuring kind of like, is the building overcrowded from a student enrollment standpoint. So just to equate what the state's trying to accomplish is their equivalent of our FCI is the state condition assessment, and their equivalent to the program index is the new state sufficiency standards. So the challenge is always there's not enough money to go around. The few dollars that we are able to garner, what's the best use of those funds? So several years ago, we began putting together a facilities needs index for major capital programs. It's just an attempt to leverage limited dollars in the most efficient way possible. You can see utilization, FTE, as well as the FQI are used and weighted accordingly, and we'll look at those numbers in a minute. Within the last year or two, we've also seen, we can't get to the top of that list fast enough. So we did also establish, the equivalent of this would be Maryland's School Facility Index. They want to create a facility index across the state. We also created a facility needs index for systemic projects. So those are buildings that may have multiple systemics coming through. We want to try to tackle those before those buildings move into the major capital improvement area. So just a diagram to show you how do we get to a project from a plan. So you start with the EFMP here on the left. There's lots of different stakeholders involved in the process. There's usually multiple priorities. They all get prioritized. There's usually options. You've heard me say before, we're in the implementation business, so it's our job to give the board choices for which to choose before we proceed with the project. Then the dollars come into play with the proposed solution, and then that ultimately becomes a project that we go and implement. We often find this useful as a tool to explain why does it take so long. So the CIP cycles are slightly off between the state and the local funding. So this just kind of lays out the major points of a project, all the different review phases. For the county, it's usually 16 months between when we ask for funds and actually receive them from a bond sale. The state's a little bit quicker with about a 9-month process. And you'll see they're staggered with the county coming first because the state doesn't participate on architectural and engineering fees. So it's important that we get local dollars to be able to get educational specifications and schematic designs completed so that we can then reach out to the state for dollars associated with projects. There's also, we talked briefly about stakeholder involvement. There's lots of different people. Actually, I need to take the Board of Public Works off the CIP piece. Board of Education, when we go to do a project, we work with about every department, food service, maintenance and operations, and energy, instruction, you name it. Everybody has to come to the table because we need everyone's input to make sure we're executing that properly. Our master plan is also reviewed by County Planning and Zoning for growth purposes. It's also submitted to the Interagency Committee, that public school construction program, and the Maryland Department of Planning has a role in projected enrollments, and MSDE has a role in ed specs and schematic design. As far as the funding is concerned, you can see, obviously, county government, the state as well. And then project implementation, it gets even broken down more, and we're going to talk briefly about the School Building Commission. School Building Commission was established as an advisory board to the county as well as the Board of Education. There's 9 voting members. You can see the breakdown here. There's a county council member, there's a county executive office member, superintendent representative, a Board of Ed representative, and there's 5 other additional appointed members that usually have an expertise in the planning, construction, or subcontracting industry. They review and advise regarding every aspect of projects. So the chart you saw earlier with all of those project phases, the School Building Commission is reviewing each and every one of those. They're also reviewing all change orders associated with construction projects. So really quick, we have a rather high cost share formula with the state at 97%, but we don't want to mislead anybody. They're not participating on 97% of the overall project costs. They're participating on 97% of the eligible project costs. So just to give you an idea of how that works, it starts with the 7-year projected enrollments. They take that number and they multiply it by a square foot per student. That results in what they determine as an eligible building size. They then take that number and they multiply it by what they determine per fiscal year is the state cost per square foot. That then gets you to your eligible construction costs. So pretty much the state has control over every portion of the formula except with the initiation of the projected enrollments. And even that, they have to approve our projected enrollments. So just briefly, these are several of the things that are excluded from eligible construction costs. Every year they say that 97% is going to be revised. Last year we started at 95%, but then they took it back to 97%. So right now we just say subject to change. We'll see what the instructions come out with for our fiscal year 2021 CIP. Real quick background, several years ago we started working with a third-party entity to do facility assessments. So keep in mind some of this data goes back to 2008, 2009. We did all schools except Bennett Middle and James M. Bennett because at the time they were slated for replacements. It doesn't include the PI index we mentioned earlier, and this data had the original West Salisbury in it, which we would need to be updating with the new West Salisbury. So that was the portfolio area at the time, and those are just, they're big numbers. Those are deferred maintenance on top of renewals. We just gave some snippets. You know, to get to the minimum threshold the COP Commission put together several years ago. I just thought that was an interesting quote. That dates back to 2003. And then there was the NOT Commission that wrapped up with the 21st Century School Facilities Commission, where they're saying, you know, obviously there's more money that is needed for school construction. So again, this is just historic. It's just for frame of reference. This is back in 2013, just to give you an idea. So if you took all the renewal and repair needs over a 5-year period, it's $159 million. So there was a 5-year backlog at the time, and then there was a 5-year outlook. So just where we were as far as deferred maintenance and then where we were headed. So just to project this out, well, how much money would you need? And again, I just want to point out there's no inflation included in these numbers. The database gives you a frame of reference. So at the lowest part, it was $6.2 million. At the highest, it was $34.3 million. And that was to maintain FCI. So whatever the condition of the buildings were at the time, the goal was to spend the money necessary to make sure there was no other systemic issues moving forward. So that's just to keep it. So if you were to walk through like a Pittsville Elementary Middle School, it would still look the same as it would today. So if you average those numbers, it worked out to be about $13.5 million. And this will hopefully come together here. So if we just analyze 5-year funding outlook, this is capital outlay, again, just for frame of reference. So 15, 16, 17, you'll see the numbers went up in 18 and 19, and there were particular reasons why. We relocated choices as part of the West Salisbury project and giving that program a place of their own. So costs were elevated for property purchases and relocations. We were trying to get further along in pre-K implementation. We have used those funds to address certain systemic projects since we didn't get as many pre-K positions in the previous fiscal year. So I just want to point those out because they look like an anomaly when you're looking at the previous fiscal years. So FY 2020 is going to be closer to back to the $3.3 million. 5-year capital funding, this is state. We only track bond sales. That'll become important in the next slide. So on average, over the course of the last 5 years, we requested about $15.4 million. On average, we received $10.1 million. It's about a 66% rate of return. Locally, we requested about $15.1 million and received $7.1 million. And it dropped from 60 to 38% from 18 to 19 fiscal year because The second allocation for Beaver Run was actually done in PAYGO versus bonds. So again, just tracking bonds from this perspective. So that's about a 47% average on return on. So other project funding sources, we used to have what was called Qualified Zone Academy. You may recall we renovated the Family and Consumer Science Room at Mardella. They were able to garner volunteer hours, which equated to a cost share for QZAB. When the federal corporate tax cut bill came out, those funds are no longer available to school systems. We also had access to EEI funds, which helped us do some lighting replacement projects and improve energy efficiencies. There was a security initiative in 2014. There was also the 2009 ARRA. For some of you that were around when we did the Northwestern, like the ARRA allowed us to make the Northwestern renovations happen. Currently available to us, as always, has been aging school funds. It's calculated by the state. It's remained stagnant for Wicomico at about $106,000. Something went backwards. There we go. This is one area that we encourage the state to consider allocating more money to. Every school system is usually dealing with aging school projects. If there was a way that some of the money that the state wants to get to public school construction, if it could come through the aging school program, that would be helpful for a lot of LEAs. So what does this mean? Ultimately, the writing on the wall is probably less state funding. They've eliminated QZAB. The potential changes that keep rolling out, it's not major, but it's smaller. So the smaller sort of adds up to less over time. Some of the 2020 indicators this year, I don't know if anybody paid attention. Caroline County had to go appeal to the IAC, I believe, to get like 4 additional classrooms. And they had to get the architect to do a real detailed analysis, and they had to go in with their instructional folks to justify why they needed those 4 additional classrooms. We're also seeing limited systemics. Our own Westside Intermediate roof this year didn't make it into the state allocations because they're trying to put, again, it goes back to they want to establish data with their facility assessments. They want to try to get as much bang for their buck as they can by tackling the big projects. There are options. Cost shift to the county for systemics, only in that if you did that, we could become exempt from prevailing wage and MBE requirements. It's higher, it's funding the full project locally. However, there could be a percentage change based upon those pieces. Another option is public-private partnership. That would be coming out as, for example, a potential lease payment out of the operating budget versus capital costs. So moving forward, we're really to the point. You may recall when we presented last year, we thought the state would get their assessments done by July 1st. So we didn't want to expend local dollars to update facility assessments if the state was going to come through and do it. We don't have a comfort level of where the state is going to be. I showed you charts from 2013 on those assessments, and you saw they went out to 2018. So we'd like to refresh the data. So we're going to be looking at how do we get that updated. It probably won't be all at one time. It wasn't when we did the original assessments. It was spread over fiscal years, and we had to prioritize them. Obviously, we need the new West Salisbury, new Bennett Middle School, and new James M. Bennett. And we would not take the time to evaluate Beaver Run because it's going to be, a new building is going to be under construction come beginning of 2020. We're going to continue the strategy that we've been working on the past 3 or 4 years, which is we're going to develop projects on a tiered basis based upon that facilities needs index, which is we're going to try to tackle the major capital projects as well as systemics and prioritize them according to those data rankings. So that's it for tonight, and I stand for any questions you may have.
That's all you have?
That's all I have. Did anybody time me?
17
Was I under
minutes.
17? All right, that's not too bad.
Lisa, I guess the biggest change in all of this is that before the IAC and the Board of Public Works was all elected personnel, and now I understand it's been all changed to appointed personnel.
The IAC actually was all appointed before, but the IAC would be making recommendations to the Board of Public Works, and those were the 3, the treasurer, the comptroller, and the
and they're no longer
governor.
in it now.
Correct. That's correct. Yep. it stops with the IAC.
Any other questions for it? Well, I appreciate it. Can we get copies of that?
I believe it's in board docs, correct?
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can we get paper copies? Yeah, I can't read it on my phone, Dr. Hannah.
That flip phone, you can't get to that, right?
Folding up with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
6.6, personnel matters. Informational only. Everyone's had the opportunity to go over them. Moving down, 7.1, board members report. John, I'm going to go on your end tonight.
I'm going to go on a report that Mike was there too. We had their first signing event over at Parkside this year. That was a great event. What they do is the companies out in town hire a number of students right off the bat. And they have the company president or CEO on stage with the school member who's being hired, and there's a little ceremony where they sign, and these people are hired right away. And I think we had about 25 or so this year, and I'd like to see that get up to 100 real quick. One area I noticed was they had a couple recruiters in there, and it was very nice. I got to talk to the gentleman going into the Marine Corps, and they're a very nice young man. I told them they're going to have a very good career. It seems that the Navy didn't show up with their recruiter this year, but I have a feeling they're going to be there next year. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Murray.
Okay. At this time of the year, as we all know, in the school systems, we're winding down many things. Yeah. Let me bring it closer. At this time of the year, we're winding down many different events and things happening in the school year. And as Mr. Palmer just said, the CTE signing was a special event that I attended there and watching. And I thank our local businesses for doing a lot and helping our students and step forward. I also wanted to point out the DI here tonight and all of our student reports throughout the year and things that are going on in our schools. So much is happening. But the most important thing, too, I wanted to touch on was our service awards. Since we have just recently had teacher appreciation, we appreciate all staff. But when I attended the service awards, and you think the number of years that so many people have touched so many students in this county, and we look back and reflect on that, I think that's a special thing. Also, the faith partnership. I was at that meeting the other night with all of our churches and working together and helping our schools, helping our students and their family. And then we see the outcomes. Recently, as one of our reporters said from the high school with Mamma Mia there, that was a fantastic production and watching the talents there. And again, with teacher appreciation. And most importantly, I'm going to end on the recognizing and special thing with the substitutes. Because without our substitutes in our schools, our teachers would not be able to have their trainings, their in-service and things. And think about the number of years you heard that they substituted, climbed up there. And, every day when we go in as educators, or any of you go into your jobs, you never know what you're facing. And a substitute doesn't know that as well. And I just think it's very special for this month that we end that with all these recognitions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Balloon.
Thank you. So since the last board meeting, Dr. Hanlon and I attended a public safety forum that the Chamber put on at Dove Point, which was very informative. All the different policing agencies in the area talked about the various issues in our county, which apply, of course, to the public schools as well. So that was interesting. A legislative lunch where we heard from all the legislators at the recent closing of the session in Annapolis, and a lot of that was about education. Actually, they addressed their thoughts there, and of course, they were all about pro-education, which was good to hear. Light of Literacy breakfast I attended with many of you were there, and we had 2 teachers from Mardella middle and high school that were recognized. And actually, I think that award was presented by my boss, Marty Need, and his wife, Marilyn, who's a former educator in Delaware, which was very gratifying on a couple of fronts for me. National Day of Prayer was another great event on May 2nd at the Civic Center. They packed the house for that, and a lot of you were there. It was just wonderful. And then that evening, many of us passed out awards at James M. Bennett High School to very deserving students. But to close out my report, I'd like to leave you with a quote. Most of you know I love sports quotes. Vince Lombardi once said, "Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence." And I thought that, knowing the agenda, that quote is particularly timely for this evening because we recognized Shane Morton, the Teacher of the Year, Grace Lamboni, and Michelle Twilley for being extra mile winners. We recognized our wonderful substitutes. As Mike pointed out, we met, and Reggie, the 5th grader from Pinehurst, what a very articulate young man in recognizing his parents. And then last but not least in that is over the last week, we can't forget where we've come with the Mardella situation. A week ago, it was a week ago, we were sitting in the council chambers hoping we could get it reinstated, and because of collaboration with Dr. Hanlon's team and the county executive and council, looks like that's going to be back on the horizon. So we are chasing perfection with Dr. Hanlon's Imagine 2022, and I do really believe with our colleagues in the public school system, one day we're going to catch excellence. And I'm just very proud to be a small part of it. And thanks all of you for everything you do, and that's the report I have. Thanks.
Mr. Brown?
Since we're nearing the end of the school year, I had an opportunity to serve on 3 scholarship service awards. It's amazing the number of kids in this school system that have excellent ACT scores, SAT scores, GPAs, and some of the colleges that they're going to. For the Rotary Club of Salisbury, we give a scholarship out, one to each one of the high schools, and we also give one to the CTE program. We had 85 applications. And when you look at 85 applications, and all of the caliber that they are, it's really a difficult situation. I also served on the Dr. Badros Scholarship Committee, and the individual that we selected there is going to Dartmouth. And so that's really a great school, and for an individual to do that, it's fantastic. Also, I met with a young student this evening, just before the board meeting, and I'm serving on the Bowie State University Scholarship Committee, and she kind of got my vote immediately when she said she was going to Bowie State University to be an elementary school teacher. So, so she won that particular one. But again, it's just a caliber of students that we have in the school system, but it all goes back to everything that everybody does, as I indicated before, from the custodians and the bus drivers and the cafeteria workers, all do their part in making it an enjoyable and rewarding day for these kids to do what they're doing and to accomplish the things that they're doing and look forward to meaningful careers. I also had an opportunity, like most of us, to go to the awards program. But when you stop to think about it, when you have individuals who have worked in a school system or in one particular county for 45 and 40 years and 30 and 35 years, they don't do it because they don't enjoy it. They do it because they feel that it can make a difference. And those people that we honor are making a difference and have made a difference in the lives of many of our students. I also went to the Promise Awards program, the banquet that I have, and it's kind of interesting to note that we are on kind of a cutting edge because we have a number of faith-based organizations who are working with our school systems, and we have 4 of them there. We have Parkside, Fruitland Primary and Intermediate, Pinehurst, and even high school. Each one of them have their churches there helping them or representing them throughout the year and doing good things, and it's really making a big difference. And I applaud the principals and you folk for encouraging that and supporting that wholeheartedly. And the last thing is, somebody just mentioned, we had 2 of our teachers who won the Light of Literacy Award through the library, and they are working with students at Mardella After School. to make them better students than they are. That's it.
Thank you. And
Well, I attended just about everything that has been mentioned, but I have two events that I was the only one there. First of all, I attended the Mardella Middle and High School band concert. And if you looked around the room, there was standing room only that evening. And you could see the pride that the people in Mardella had for their band. And of course, 2 days before, they won the big trophy at the Apple Blossom Festival. The music was quite difficult, and I was just pleased to hear how well they did it. But the finale was quite impressive. They did Sweet Caroline, and they had the entire marching ensemble come within the audience. You had your pom-poms, you had your majorettes, and you had your flags. And I want to give a big thank you to Mr. Corey Bolts, who is the band director at Mardella. Now, a second event that I attended, I had no idea what I was going to walk into. And this was the pre-K and K registration. First of all, I couldn't understand why they needed the midway room. I mean, why did they need the midway room for 4 whole days to register little children for pre-K? Why couldn't they just use one of the smaller rooms? You know, people were going to come in and go out. No. I walked in and saw one of the best well-oiled machines I think I have ever seen. There were many stations, at least 5 or 6, you can correct me on this. And when the parents came in with the children, they were started at station 1. And I walked around and talked to the individual families that were there. And you had families that had an interpreter with them because the parents did not speak English. And then I talked to one little girl. If I had 2 hours with her, I could have her reading. So you had such a diversity there. And it was really an eye-opener because I had no idea what to expect. And I walked away just feeling so much pride and all the hours and hours of work that went into organizing this. So I think we're in the right track.
thank you. Well, the biggest thing I've had this month, and I showed my passion, was last Tuesday night. And Mr. Culver, if you're watching tonight, after what I learned this morning, I want to thank you. I couldn't thank you last Tuesday because I was a little upset with you. But tonight, I want to personally say thank you. Again, it's not about us. It's about these students. And the students of Mardella deserve the same thing as students across this county. So as we go forward, we can work together. And that's what it's all about. I also attended a lot of the same meetings and get-togethers this month. We have a wonderful county. We have a lot of dedicated teachers in this county. And this year is just about over. So, you know, I want to personally thank them for everything they've done and continue to do. And with that said, meeting adjourned.